Hi, I'm Francis McGovern for Literary Traveler, and we're here at the Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And while you may not think of a cemetery as a great travel destination, the Mount Auburn Cemetery is one of the most beautiful, historic, and literary places to visit just outside Boston. While you can learn a good deal about Boston's history just by strolling the grounds, we wanted to find out more about the grand old cemetery. So we asked Bree Harvey, Vice President of External Affairs at Mount Auburn, to answer a few of our questions. Bree, tell us more about the founding of Mount Auburn Cemetery. How did it come to be?
Mount Auburn Cemetery was founded in 1831 by a group of Bostonians who were interested in combining a lot of the different philosophical and social ideals of the beginning of the 19th century in one new experiment. They were looking both for a place large scale and outside the city of Boston to bury Boston's dead. They were also looking for a new way to commemorate the dead with images that were more celebratory of a life well lived versus the scary image of death that was seen on many of the colonial monuments and the colonial burial grounds. And finally, they were looking for a place where they could have a garden, an experimental garden, to begin trying to produce new cultivars of flowering and fruiting ornamental trees, which previously didn't survive well in the New England climate. We have a very wide range of writers and poets and authors buried here. Henry Longfellow, his good friend James Russell Lowell, Oliver Wendell Holmes, the senior, the physician and the poet, is also here to help round out Longfellow's circle. But we also have more contemporary figures as well. The writer, author Bernard Malamud, for instance, is buried here. The poet Robert Creeley, who has been buried here within the past decade, also is part of that list.
What makes Mount Auburn Cemetery such a great travel destination for someone visiting the Boston area?
The 5 main factors that influence somebody to visit Mount Auburn are the history of this place and learning about the history of our site itself, visiting the graves of the notable figures buried here, as well as visiting the graves of family and friends who are personally known. We have a huge population of visitors who come to explore the horticultural collections. The art and architectural collections are of interest to a good number of our visitors, and the wildlife, particularly the birds and the migratory birds in the spring, bring out a lot of visitors each April and May.
The desire to celebrate a life well lived was shared by many of the Romantic poets, as was the idea that one could achieve tranquility by connecting with the natural world. I felt a sense of peace while walking by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's grave, and was reminded of the opening lines from his poem, Evangeline. This is the forest primeval, the murmuring pines and the hemlocks, bearded with moss and in garments green, indistinct in the twilight. Well, we hope you enjoyed our visit to the Mount Auburn Cemetery, and remember, explore your literary imagination on literarytraveler.com.